Welcome to tonight's show.
Whoa, Bud, what are you doing?
I don't understand. You spend all your time talking about boring stuff, and as soon as I start trying to make things fun, you get mad at me.
Well, no, it's just that there's copyright and then there's copyright.
Please, if you actually cared about monetization, then actually, you know what? Never mind. I thought I could give you a hand with this one, but if you don't want my help...
Oh, just relax. You're allowed to help, just not with that music. What did you have in mind?
Mostly by showing people that it's not always a boring snooze fest here and that some of us do know how to have fun. I'm helping you by showing people that you know someone cool, and that maybe that might rub off on you a little.
Oh, like identification.
What?
You know, the idea from modern rhetorical theory proposed by friend of the show Kenneth Burke that says,
Oh, this is hopeless. Please give us a minute to try again, everyone.
Okay, so if you haven't played the cumbersomely titled Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords, the basic idea of the game is that you, the player, awaken one fine day in an apparently abandoned mining facility where you become acquainted with a mysterious old woman and another guy. You work together to escape the facility and learn that you, the protagonist, were a Jedi general in the Mandalorian Wars under the command of another Jedi named Revan.
Who?
Oh, we'll never know. But since Jedi are peacekeepers or whatever, our protagonist was exiled from the Order after coming back from the war and wandered the far edges of the galaxy after losing their connection to the Force, the mystical source of a Jedi's powers. Anyway, from there, the game charges you with regaining your connection to the Force, tracking down the Jedi Council members who exiled you in order to find answers, and with gathering a team of friends, companions, and would-be assassins to save the galaxy, conquer the galaxy, or do whatever you did, Bud.
What do you mean, whatever I did?
Well, it seems like you said mean things about your companions and tried to make friends with every Sith Lord you encountered.
Oh, it's not my fault they stuck me with Atten and Kreia and those other ones, who all just helped themselves to being on my ship without even asking first. Look, if video games is about being forced to fight the cool ones and then just tolerate the dead weight, I don't know what people get so excited about.
All right, we should say that our grumpy gold friend has nearly finished a playthrough of this game on, I guess, his channel?
Tune in later this week for the glorious finale of Whatever I Did.
But we're not really here to talk about the game in general.
No, we have to strip the fun out of it and make it a rhetoric lecture.
Well, yeah, that's what this show is. But this game does show us an interesting example of the different levels that rhetoric operates on, which, like I mentioned earlier, were described by friend of the show Kenneth Burke in his book, A Rhetoric of Motives. The first is what you'd probably expect if someone said rhetoric. It's outright persuasion. You use your words to persuade someone to do something. In the context of this game, when you interact with characters, you may receive certain dialogue options that are tagged as persuasion options. Whether or not you successfully persuade that character to do or say something depends on your level of charisma.
Halt, off-worlder.
I won't.
You'll have to answer some questions before you go into the city. What is your business on ISIS?
Seems like we're kind of both in a rush.
Why not?
Yeah.
I can see you have no crates
no
or
crates.
cargo.
I have no cargo.
And your ship is obviously not affiliated with the Republic.
Exactly.
You're free to go.
Thanks.
Don't lose your starport visa.
I won't.
Otherwise, you won't be leaving for a long while.
And obviously you and I know there's more to persuasion than just charisma, but for a simple game mechanic, it's not a terrible way to think about it.
And let me tell you, Riz Lesko is overflowing with charisma.
I'm sorry, who?
The Jedi Exile, Riz Lesko.
You named your Jedi Riz Lesko?
Ex-Jedi, and yes, it had to sound stupid and spacey and made up. But it also turns out he's very persuasive.
Fair enough. But either way, rhetoric as persuasion was and is, for the most part, the dominant way people think of rhetoric. But as Burke pointed out, and as we can see in the game, rhetoric also goes much deeper, making its presence known beyond the overt persuasion. So let's imagine hypothetically that you're a Jedi exile who picks a fight with a bunch of mercenaries while cruising the grasslands with an assassin robot.
There is a considerable bounty on your kind that I will collect on unless you're working for me.
Do you know how many people have tried to collect that bounty? We're done here.
Statement. I approve of your style, Master.
Yeah.
Men, I trust you can handle this Jedi.
They can't. Guarantee you that they can't. He's off. He's slow walking away.
Or maybe you're escaping a polar fortress and reassuring your little robot friend that he did nothing wrong after your ship was stolen.
It's my friend. Oh, I'll get him. It wasn't your fault. They're just you stay with me? Fine, I'll see you at the ship. Gotta go find the other people I don't like. I have to go spend time with them.
What we're seeing is what the game calls influence, but it works a lot like what Burke calls identification. So let's take that first example. You pick a fight with some mercenaries. Your assassin robot, who likes fighting, sees that you're doing things that align with his values, wanton destruction. Now, if your actions are downstream of your values, then choosing to pick a fight with mercenaries means that you also value wanton destruction. Or to put it in always simpler Burkean terms, A is not identical with his colleague B, but insofar as their interests are joined, A is identified with B. Or he may identify himself with B even when their interests are not joined, if he assumes that they are or is persuaded to believe so. Thus, Burke writes, in being identified with B, A is substantially one with a person other than himself. Yet at the same time, he remains unique, an individual locus of motives. Thus, he is both joined and separate, at once a distinct substance and consubstantial with another. Right? Easy. So because you've done something that aligns with the assassin robot's values, the assassin robot identifies with you. You share an important salient aspect of identity. Obviously, the robot doesn't become you, but you do become one in a sense. And this is how identification works differently and often more subtly than outright persuasion. When you give a speech telling people to vote a certain way, they can listen to your argument and decide whether to do it or not. But identification doesn't work through arguments, and it doesn't usually aim to affect someone's actions directly. For another example, when you tell your little warrior hero T3M4 that he's a good robot who does good things and stick up for him in front of people, well, you're not specifically persuading that robot to do anything. There is no argument being made, but you're showing that you have shared identity. And when you share parts of an identity, it's not hard to begin sharing more of your identity. Continue to gain influence through your symbolic actions, and you might even be able to change that robot's worldview, all without ever actually making an argument.
Wow, T3, you're darker than me now.
And the game reckons with the implications of that kind of influence or identification. Now, it is a fantasy, and there is that made-up superpower called the Force amplifying everything, but the protagonist's ability to exert supernatural influence on others becomes a major point of discussion later in the game, with questions arising around whether companions are fighting alongside the protagonist because they want to, or because they've identified so strongly with the protagonist that they're compelled to.
Why are you here?
I would die for you.
Yeah, I know.
When I tell you my life for yours, it is my choice.
Okay, great.
And
All
if there is
solved.
an ending between us where my sacrifice can save you, it will be because it is my desire, not your will.
Sick. Sounds like a deal then. How do you know that, though?
I simply do.
Okay.
And sometimes there is no reason that can be given.
So just really quickly before we move on, I want to be clear that coercion is not rhetorical. So we saw, for example, that you have the option in the game to use your words to persuade people to do things. At some points, though, you have the option to use your words plus the magical power of the Force to compel people to do things, and that's not really persuasion.
Tell me your feelings.
I feel a little lightheaded.
There you go.
Let me tell you
Yeah,
what
let
I
it all
feel.
out.
I have
Let
many
Uncle
good
Riz
years of service left in me.
Hear what you have to
I
say.
feel like I'm being set aside.
I think you
They
are.
said they needed their best men here. But Skyramp duty has always been relegated to fresh officers.
And you are not fresh. You know, guarding the Skyrim could be important, but maybe get reassigned.
I couldn't do that. I heard the
I
reassignments
know,
came
we've
from the
been through
Queen
this.
herself.
You should request a reassignment, though.
I will request reassignment.
Yeah, that's
immediately.
what I was thinking.
Troops, man the checkpoint without me. I must leave at once.
That's the same thing with me asking you to move versus poking you with a sharp stick to make you move. With the first, I'm respecting your ability to choose whether you're going to move or not. Now, I hope you will, and I'll present my best reasons for why I should, but ultimately the choice remains yours. With the sharp stick, though, you really have to move or suffer some serious pain. And likewise, if the powers of the Force made someone's influence over others so great that they unconsciously and unwillingly acted out what that influencer's will exerted, well, that's not really rhetorical identification, that's magical coercion. As Burke puts it, persuasion involves choice, will. It is directed to a man only insofar as he is free. This is good to remember. Only insofar as men are potentially free must the spellbinder seek to persuade them. Insofar as they must do something, rhetoric is unnecessary, its work being done by the nature of things. But as we've seen, rhetoric doesn't always work directly to change actions. The influence of identification often works to shift attitudes instead. Burke uses the example of the politician who tells the crowd, "I was a farm boy myself." If the crowd is made up of farmers, they may take that to mean that the politician shares their agrarian values, and without ever actually telling them to vote for him, the politician suggests that he will support the policies that they want. But like we've seen from the game, that kind of identification could exert influence the other way. If that scoundrel Atten identifies with the Jedi Exile, and that Jedi Exile takes a dark turn, well, then Atten might too. And if that politician starts enacting laws that actually hurt farmers, well, the farmers might be so influenced by their identification with that former farm boy that they may not realize the drift of their own values. And to be clear, Burke's rhetoric of motives is not a guide to manipulation. Burke was a critic, and his project was interested in dissecting and understanding how even the subtlest manipulations of motives could take hold, and he wrote extensively on the propaganda of Nazi Germany as part of an effort among 20th century rhetoricians to figure out how that propaganda worked so it could never work again. And that's really the key. If you just uncritically accept that because you identify with that farm boy must share all your values and is working in your interest, well, that's a road to trouble. But if you understand how identification and its resulting influence work, then you can be more critical of whose influence you do and do not accept. And it even works in the game with the otherwise coercive force persuasion. Every once in a while, you may run into a character who is able to resist the magical persuasion because they know how it works and have been trained to resist it.
So you're the Jedi.
That's me.
I take it you are responsible for the surprises we've had during this battle.
Probably.
Stand aside. Our quarrel is with a distinguished administrator. This isn't your problem.
It's kind of my problem. Throw down your weapons.
Is that supposed to convince me, Jedi? I was trained by the Sith. My unit killed many Jedi.
That was
I'll
worth
give
a
you
try.
one last chance. Leave the administrator to her fate.
It's like the old saying goes, if you don't learn rhetoric, you'll forever be its victim. But I do want to be clear that persuasion, identification, and rhetoric are not inherently bad, though some of us choose to use our influence to turn our companions into acolytes of the dark side.
Hey, I want to be clear that they mostly all forced their way onto my ship without my permission, and I dutifully ignored them. And still most of them fell in love with me for no reason. Look, it's not my fault they saw the power that came from learning dark secrets even while I did my best to lavish them with apathy. If I could have jettisoned all of them except T3 and HK through the cargo hold, I would have.
Sure, you're not evil, just disaffected.
Exactly. Let's get our terminology straight, bud.
Anyway, while Riz seems to have taken a darker path, another player could have chosen to bring out the best in each party member instead, cooperating with them to achieve new heights of nobility and to restore hope to the galaxy.
What has the galaxy ever done for me? I'll look out for myself, thank you very much.
Oh, sure, like by helping me to improve my video with your fun footage and winning attitude?
No, by helping people to see that it's me they should be watching. Any benefit to you is an unintended side effect that I'm just too tired to correct.
Okay, you're very big and bad.
I know.
Anyway, friends, that's what we've got. Yes, rhetoric is often most visible when it takes the form of persuasion, but it's usually commonly at work in the form of identification. Subtle actions and statements that highlight shared aspects of identity and that shape someone's attitudes as much as their actions. As always, there's a light and dark side, but knowing how it works will always put you in a position to maximize your agency and prevent you from being mindlessly steered in a direction that you don't want to go.
But speaking of a direction you do want to go, watch my videos and witness my greatness.
Or, just come back next week for more of our well-established brand of fun.
They can do both.
Yeah, of course they can. So wish them well, and we'll see how it goes.
You wish. Prepare to languish in obscurity, bud. Oh, wait. You already do.
Well, charming as ever. We'll call it there. Please take care till next time, and we'll see you soon.